My favorite part of the brain is the amygdala. There are many aspects of behavior, memories, reactions, and emotions that the amygdala deals with. All of these things combined make this small mass of cells intriguing to me. The amygdala is an almond-shaped structure that can be located inside each cerebral hemisphere. It is located specifically in the rostral temporal lobes. This structure is a part of the limbic system. This system also includes the hippocampus, thalamus, hypothalamus, basal ganglia, and the cingulate gyrus. The amygdala plays a major role in memory and emotions. The amygdala determines what memories are going to be stored in the brain. It mainly focuses on memories that are tied to emotions. This way, if an event were to happen again, a response would be easier to figure out. An example of this is if you touch a hot burner on the stovetop at an earlier point in time. This memory would be tied to an emotion. If the situation where you were once again close to a stovetop, you would avoid touching the hot burner and be more aware of the situation at hand. The amygdala also determines where in the brain the memories will be stored. The amygdala itself is a place for emotional memories to be stored. This is why it can trigger emotional reactions to certain events that are happening. It can also lead to amygdala hijacking. The amygdala plays an important role in emotions as well. These emotions include anger, sadness, fear, pleasure, and aggression. It is most commonly known for its role in fear due to the flight, fight, or freeze response. This will be discussed in a later slide. The amygdala has been linked to fear conditioning. This is when someone has learned through repeated experiences to fear something or someone. This could be a sound, or an object, and much more. An angry response to a situation could be due to the amygdala hijacking, which will also be discussed in a second. We have all heard of fight or flight, but these reactions are now being accompanied by the reaction of freeze as well. These reactions are characterized by dilated pupils, trembling, pale or flushed skin, rapid heartbeat and breathing, and increased blood flow to the muscles. These reactions are caused by something that is mentally or physically scary. It could be giving a speech in front of a class or having a dog growl at you. This leads to a release of hormones that prepare the body to survive by fighting, fleeing, or freezing. Amygdala hijacking is an overwhelming emotional response that is inappropriate given the situation that caused it. This is caused by a flood of hormones being released. The amygdala takes over the reactions to the brain, causing the reactions to not be thought through until a later point in time. This is why the reaction seems out of place and too much for the situation. An example of this is when you get extremely angry and lash out over a book falling to the ground. The situation was not a big deal, but due to the hormones and previous events in the day, the reaction is blown out of proportion. The amygdala hijacks the brain from thinking through completely. While the amygdala itself does not release or produce hormones, it does have high concentration in receptors. These receptors are most commonly associated with reward and punishment. One of the receptors that is present in abundance is cortisol receptors. This hormone is known as the stress hormone. It is probably why the amygdala is also associated with producing the reaction for fight, flight, or freeze. The amygdala also has high concentration of neurotransmitter receptors. Some of these neurotransmitters are dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, and serotonin. Many disorders are associated with the amygdala. This is due to its role in processing events and handling emotions such as fear and anger. These disorders often deal with fear and anxiety. Obsessive compulsion disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, borderline personality disorder, and social anxiety disorders are a few of them that can be linked to the amygdala. Many of these disorders are treated with medication that alters the receptors of neurotransmitters in order to counteract some of the symptoms. These disorders can be linked to smaller amygdalas, more activity in one amygdala compared to the other, and smaller amygdala volume. The amygdala is involved in so many things that goes on in the brain. It deals with memories, emotions, hormones, emotional reactions, and neurotransmitters. This is only getting into the basics of the complex role that the amygdala plays in our everyday behavior. This almond-shaped structure has taken its place as my favorite brain part and will be very hard to replace.